Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for joining the next installment of our webinar series as we uncover all of these incredible destinations found around the world that you can explore with Princess Cruises. My name is David Craven, and I am Key Account Manager here at Princess, and it is my absolute pleasure to talk about two of the most iconic cruises that you can possibly do. They are South America, including Antarctica, and Panama Canal. So get yourself comfy, get yourself a nice cup of mate, maybe an empanada, or what about a lovely little glass of Argentinian Malbec as we uncover these amazing destinations. Now, the thing is, speaking to consumers over the past 6 to 9 months, one thing has become abundantly clear. It really has. The very dark days of 2020 through 2022, when people couldn't cruise, they weren't even allowed to leave their state, let alone leave the country. A lot of people missed out on opportunities to tick off some bucket list destinations. And these two destinations we're talking about today are very much bucket list. So there is a huge appetite right now for people to be doing these iconic cruises. So upping your skills and knowledge is definitely the best way to go. And hopefully I'm here to basically give some tips, tricks, and help explain why to go to these destinations, what they offer, and what Princess are actually offering in these regions as well. We're going to kick off with South America, which is truly iconic. Now, I thought probably the best way to do this, to kind of get you all excited, to get our inspiration going, let's kick it all off with a video. I think the correct word for that is wow. It's just a wow destination. It truly is. And there is something for absolutely everyone. That's what's so amazing about this destination. If you are all about hiking, some of the best hikes to be found in the world. If you love natural beauty, you've got Amalia Glacier, you've got the Amazon rainforest, you've got the Andes, you've got Antarctica. I mean, what more could you possibly want? If you love wildlife, you've got the Amazon rainforest. You've got the Antarctic region with penguins and all the whales and the marine life. If you love food, this is some of the best food to be found anywhere in the world. And that's not just me saying it. When you look through the Michelin Star Guide, the top 10 restaurants found anywhere in the world, I think something like 3 of them are in Peru, a couple are in Colombia. Like the cuisine, the food to be found in this region is second to none. Wine lovers, who doesn't love an Argentinian Malbec? Who doesn't love Carmenere from Chile? It literally has everything. And then you've got the most warmest, friendliest people, incredible culture with, you know, the Argentinian waltz and the tango. And you've got the Brazilian rumba vibe. You've got so much to explore, and cruising is a really great way to see it because South America is an enormous continent. So cruising is a really, really great way to actually explore this diverse region. And not only is it a very convenient way, come aboard, unpack once, it's incredibly good value for money. So just looking at kind of just some very rough guide prices, if we compare the cost of a Princess cruise on an average 51 night cruise, so we're talking a chunky cruise here. We're talking about doing a full kind of tour of South America, exploring Antarctica as well. So we're not just talking about comparing a little 7 night or something. We're talking about the full shebang here, seeing as much as you physically can. On average, we're looking at about $150 a day. If you were looking at that kind of coach touring experience, it's going to be closer towards $2,000 a day. And of course, like I mentioned, you don't have the convenience of coming aboard, unpacking once, and simply waking up in these majestic destinations and being able to have access to all these incredible ports of call. And of course, by doing a cruise, you can get to places like the Amalia Glacier, which is in the Chilean Fjordlands. It is absolutely exquisite and truly, truly memorable. Everyone knows about Alaska and their fjords, but I think the Chilean fjords do definitely give them a run for their money, shall we say. So the value of cruising in this region speaks for itself, and it speaks volume. It really, really does. Now, when we're looking at the weather does vary because obviously the size of South America is so, so vast. When you're looking at towards the northern part of South America, which is of course in the heart of the tropics, you're going to find much higher temperatures compared to looking further down, and we're getting right down to the very bottom end of South America towards Ushuaia. It's never really going to creep into double figures that much, if it does at all. So when you are packing, or your clients are packing to go away on this cruise, depending on how much they're exploring, they will need to pack for kind of all four seasons, if you will. Anyone from Victoria will be very, very attuned to doing that. Now, the season when we're cruising around South America and Antarctica is their summer, which is very much aligned with our summer. So we're typically there around the October, November period through till March. So it's very similar to our summer. Now, we have got you covered. When we're cruising in this region, we have loads of ports of call to explore, more than 25, depending on which cruise itinerary that you are undertaking. We're going to get you into those natural beauty locations. We're going to be able to offer destinations more inland with our cruise tours, which we'll talk about a little bit shortly. But of course, we're going to get into those Chilean fjordlands. We're going to get you access to Machu Picchu, to Iguazu Falls. We're going to give you everything from the beach of Rio de Janeiro to beautiful scenic cruising in Antarctica. Now, for our forthcoming 24 through 26 season, we do have two amazing ships in this region. We have the Sapphire Princess as well as the Majestic Princess. Now, both of these ships have sailed in this region, so the Australian and Kiwi guests should be fairly attuned with these ships. If you want the slightly smaller ship, I'd recommend the Sapphire Princess. Passenger capacity there is about 2,500. Your Majestic Princess being part of our Royal Class experience, they're closer towards 3,700 guests. So depending on what the guest likes, sometimes people prefer a smaller ship vibe. Sapphire Princess is going to offer that. If you want the bigger ship, being a bigger ship, you're going to have more dining options, more entertainment space, more space in general. The Majestic is going to be the ship for you, but either ship you choose, they're fantastic and consistent. Now, there are plenty of options when cruising in this region through 24 and through to 26. Now, depending on how long you have, you can cruise anywhere from 2 weeks all the way up to 7, close to 8 weeks, which is absolutely unbelievable. Now, like I said at the very beginning of this presentation, we're talking about bucket list destinations. Now, I know not everybody has 50 nights annual leave available to them, but if you are going here to this destination, what I need to say is, don't sell yourself short. If you're going all that way, I recommend doing as much as you physically can. If you are still working and you're on annual leave, Go into a negative for it. Do unpaid leave. Who cares? My God, this place is an amazing destination. Make sure you're spending as long as you physically can in this region. Now, I know a lot of cruisers do talk about these bucket list destinations, ticking off these kind of iconic things to do on a cruise ship. One of those is traversing Drake's Passage or the Straits of Magellan, round there at the very bottom of South America. Now, there are a lot of different ways to do to cruise in this region. There are a lot of expedition style ships. There are smaller luxury style ships that cruise this region. With those ships, because they are smaller ships and because they their capacity can be anywhere between say like 50 to say 200, they're smaller vessels. So those big waves that you're going to find in this region may knock those ships around a little bit more. With the Sapphire Princess and the Majestic Princess, these are big ocean liners. They are designed to traverse those, vast oceans, and it takes an awful lot more from Mother Nature to move them around. So they are a little bit more comfortable, and of course, you're going to have all that princess experience. Now, what I strongly recommend is doing as long as you physically can. If you are looking to start your voyage in Los Angeles, most home ports, so if you're flying from Brisbane, Sydney, Auckland, Melbourne, Adelaide, a lot of those home ports do actually offer direct flights into LAX. And of course, it's a great destination to maybe spend a little bit of time beforehand. We've got Disney, we've got Vegas, we've got wine regions. There's an awful lot that we can do in California. From that point, we're going to make our way all the way around, all the way through to Buenos Aires. And then at the end of that cruise, you can actually see, once we've done the full western side of South America, we get to Buenos Aires. And then that cruise, following that main repositioning, is our Antarctic cruise that you can see at the very top there. So that's exploring all those very remote destinations of Cape Horn, Ushuaia, as well as getting into the Falkland Islands. Now, when we're talking about the Antarctic Peninsula, unlike expedition style ships, we do not have zodiacs, so you cannot physically stand on Antarctica itself, but we will be spending 4 days cruising this region. So you are right in the heart of this destination. You are close enough to touch these places. Sadly, we cannot physically stand on Antarctica itself, but like I said earlier, the price difference is vast between those expedition style ships as well as Princess. Not everyone necessarily wants to do the standing on Antarctica, then obviously this is going to be a great option. Some people say, well, look, I kind of wanted to stand on Antarctica so I could see the wildlife. I want to get up close and personal with the penguins. The great thing about our cruise to Antarctica is we stop in Port Stanley. So you can see there in the Falkland Islands right there, we dock in a place called Port Stanley. Now, what you will find in this port of call is the largest colony of penguins found in the region. So you are not going to miss out on getting those amazing photographs of those beautiful animals in the wildlife. So depending on how long guests have, if they've got a short amount of time, or if they've got, like I say, a bit of long service leave, if they're retirees, or if they've just gone, you know what, I've been dreaming of going there all this time. I'm going to do the full cruise. We're going to do that full repositioning cruise. We have something for everyone. But like I say, I definitely recommend the longer, the better. Now, what we also offer in this region is something called cruise tours. Now, cruise tours are a land and sea experience, okay? Now, we're very, very famous for offering cruise tours in Alaska. It's probably our most iconic destination that we do this, but we offer cruise tours everywhere, literally throughout the world. If you're cruising in Japan, we offer a cruise tour where you can do the bullet train and get out to the old capital of Kyoto. If you're cruising around the British Isles, you can do the Ring of Kerry, so you can see the best of Ireland before doing that British Isles cruise. If you're cruising from Barcelona, we have the best of Spain. You're cruising from Athens, we have the best of Greece. If you're doing a Baltic cruise, we have the imperial treasures of Europe. We have a cruise tour here in Australia to get you to see Uluru, the rainforest in Daintree, in just outside of Cairns. We have them everywhere. Now, what we actually offer in terms of cruise tours in this region are two of the most iconic kind of UNESCO heritage sites in South America. They are Machu Picchu as well as Iguazu Falls. Now, if you are commencing your cruise from Lima, then you can pre-cruise do your Machu Picchu experience before jumping on board the cruise. Or alternatively, if you are starting your voyage or ending your voyage in Buenos Aires, then you can do the Iguazu cruise tour to get to see that absolutely stunning destination right there. Now, I know that some people will be saying, hey, I want to do a cruise from Lima, well, Callao, all the way to Buenos Aires, and I want to do both cruise tours. We cannot do both cruise tours. Okay, so it is only one cruise tour attached to a cruise. Okay, so that's sadly the way it is. It's the way it's built in Polar. There's no way around it. But depending on what the guests want to do, there is something there for everyone. Now, I love this slide so much. I think it does a really good representation of the different experiences that you're going to get from cruising in South America. It is jam-packed full of wildlife. You get the complete extremes of dense, famous, beautiful wildlife in rainforests to the aquatic marine life of penguins and things like that in Antarctica or the Chilean fjordlands. If you go all the way up to Machu Picchu, I'm pretty sure you'll see an alpaca or a llama, something like that. There is so much wildlife in this region. The food, like I mentioned earlier, Argentinian steak with a Malbec. Wow, get me there. That sounds fantastic. Enjoy a great show. So the food, the cuisine, the wines, the drinks. Have a cup of mate, which is their kind of take on a caffeinated beverage. Everyone drinks it. It's just the kind of done thing in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay as well, to a certain degree. Very, very highly caffeinated. It will give you a caffeine rush. It's fantastic. You're going to get some beautiful historical buildings. And there is literally, like I said, something for everyone. For your culture buffs, for the Instagram, you want to go to see the Christ the Redeemer, stuff like that. There is just so much in this region. It really is a must visit for everyone who's serious about travel. It's awesome. Now, it is time to talk about our next destination, which is the Panama Canal, one of the two most famous canals found throughout the world, the Suez Canal and the Panama Canal. Now, they are very, very different in their approach. The Suez Canal, they basically blasted their way through the rock to connect the Mediterranean through to the Red Sea. So it is literally just a pathway. You sail through it. Panama Canal is very, very different, and it is one of the most incredible achievements in terms of engineering and human endeavor. Before the Panama Canal was built, the world was a smaller place. So if you were sending things from the east side of the US and even the east side of South America, or if you were sending things from Europe to the west coast of America, or even out towards Japan, China, places like that, you had to go all the way around South America. So by creating the Panama Canal through Central America, it was an absolute game changer, and it truly is a feat of engineering. It's unbelievable. Now, unlike the Suez Canal, the reason why they had to build locks with the Panama Canal is the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean are on different levels. One is higher than the other. I believe it's the Caribbean is actually slightly higher in terms of the water table than the Pacific Ocean. So what we need to use is locks to move the ships along and then to traverse it. Now, if you're going to do a full transit, you will actually traverse 3 locks and you will sail through Gatun Lake. Now, Gatun Lake is the world's largest man-made lock. And when you're actually sailing through Gatun Lake, you'll see what looks like islands. They're actually not. It used to be a valley. And what you're seeing is the very tops of mountains. So it is absolutely unbelievable as you're sailing through. And what's incredible when you're cruising through the Panama Canal is, again, the wildlife. Some of the wildlife that you get through there is amazing. It is definitely not uncommon to see crocodiles basking on the side. And of course, because we're sailing through Central America, you're going to get some really diverse, beautiful locations offering just about everything you could want. Again, great food, great culture, incredible wildlife, and an iconic destination to cruise. Now, what feels like a lifetime ago, I used to work on board as a deputy cruise director, and I was lucky enough to do the Panama Canal season, which was absolutely amazing. It really was iconic. Something I'll never ever forget. And one of the things I think that you'll take away from this is it's incredible to see that I once had hair. So that was before I was married. Now, I absolutely adored this destination for a number of reasons. It's so diverse, and it's so different in terms of the culture and things like that, to, I'd say, to Australia, to the UK, to anything that you get in America and things like that. Now, there's a number of different ways that we can cruise through the Panama Canal, depending on what you want, but we will talk about that very, very shortly. Kicking off, the most importantly, when are we cruising the Panama Canal? The season is September through May. So again, it's basically our summer season. If we were looking to go through from May to September, it starts getting a little bit too wet because, of course, this is a tropical region and the humidity is it's very, very humid. So even in September, it's pretty muggy. So what I will say, though, with the way that we cruise the Panama Canal, if you are looking to do a full transit, so it's almost like a repositioning cruise, we tend to do that at the shoulder seasons. So, for instance, a ship will do maybe the Caribbean season, and then it's going to reposition for the Alaska season. The ship will then traverse the Panama Canal and reposition. So that's where you're going to get that full transit. So that tends to be at the shoulder season. Again, when ships are leaving the Alaska region to go back to the Caribbean, again, it's going to do that full transit. We do have a round trip option, which we can talk about shortly, but the season there, as you can see, is September through till May. Now, we have Panama covered for you. We literally have more guests on board our ships to go through the Panama Canal than any other cruise line. So you are in the best of hands when cruising with Princess. We offer everything from east to west full transits, as well as partial transits, or what we'd call round trips. Now, for the 24 through 26 season, we have 6 different ships on offer. We have our Island and Coral Princess. We have our Grand Sapphire Caribbean and Emerald Princess. Now, they all offer something different, and they're all kind of different sizes. So the Island and Coral, guests here in Australia and New Zealand are very familiar now with the Coral Princess. She's been based out of Brisbane. She's also the ship that's been doing the World Cruise. I believe she's currently in Norway at the moment on the 24 World Cruise. But the Island and Coral Princess were both built in France, and they are our Panamax class ships. What that means is they were built with the Panama Canal in mind. So the great thing about the Island and Coral is they are really, really long vessels, but very, very narrow because, like I say, they were designed to go through the Panama Canal. So because they're really, really long and they're very tall, they're almost stretched, you get lots of entertainment space. So you have 3 entertainment spaces in the theatre. You've then got Universe Lounge and Explorers Lounge in the middle. So you've got lots of entertainment space. You've got 2 specialty dining restaurants. You've got loads of kind of amenities at your on hand, whilst only being a 2,000 passenger ship. So it's a very small ship experience, but a big ship inclusion. They're fantastic ships. They really, really are. When the Island and the Coral Princess are going through the Panama Canal, they actually have to shrink. They literally have to shrink. So they shrink 10 meters, believe it or not. They bring in the lifeboats, so that all kind of crunches in. They bring in parts of the mooring deck. And then as they're going through the locks, there is only 6 inches either side. It is unbelievable. So when we're going through the locks, we're not kind of steering the ship. We send out lines and we get pulled through with trolleys, okay? But if it's not those smaller ship experiences, so the Island and Coral, when we're looking towards the Emerald Princess, it's about 3,100 passengers. So again, bigger ship experience. And with the inclusion now of the brand new locks that have been released, I think that was back in 2019. Don't call me on that, but I think it was 2019 they went live. We can actually get bigger ships through now. So if you want that bigger ship experience, then we can offer that, which is fantastic. So let's have a look at some of the itineraries. Now, On the right-hand side, that's an example of a full transit cruise. So that's going there from Vancouver. So it's at the very end of the Caribbean season. So that's going to be leaving around September. That's then going to be going down the west coast of the US through Central America, going through the Panama Canal, finishing up in Fort Lauderdale. Now, quite often when people are going to the Panama Canal, they want to go and do all three locks. They want the full transit. So you're going to be looking at those shoulder seasons. The great thing about doing a full transit is you're going to get into some really, really interesting destinations. So when we're looking at this itinerary, we're going to be going through Nicaragua. How many people do you know that have been to Nicaragua? Incredible place. Some of the friendliest people you will ever meet ever in your life. Some of the best food I've ever eaten. Great people. Incredibly beautiful and diverse destination. Wildlife aplenty, and of course we're also going to be going to Costa Rica. Costa Rica, the home of ziplining and also the home of so many incredible wildlife experiences. You can go to volcanic mud baths, which is amazing for your skin, and of course you can hold a sloth. They're really cute. They're just gorgeous, and it's a lovely experience. If you've never done it, get yourself to Panama and do it. It's absolutely incredible. But during the actual kind of season, what you can see is on the left-hand side, our round trip option. So how this happens is the ship will make its way through a lock. It will then turn around and then come back through the same lock and then dock into a place called Colón in Panama. Okay. So you get to experience going through the lock. What we offer as a shore excursion is guests can then get off the ship, and then as the ship is turning around and then coming back through the lock, you can do a tour and you kind of get a behind the scenes tour, learn more about how the Panama Canal was created. You can see all the workings, watch the ship being pulled through. Absolutely unbelievable experience. Then as the ship makes its way to Colón, the guests make their way to Colón. We pick them up and we continue on our journey. What I also want to highlight as well is by doing a round trip cruise, it's also going to include some of the most amazing destinations found in the Caribbean. Now, Debbie, our sales manager from New Zealand and soon to be Queensland, she did the last webinar talking about the Caribbean. One thing about the Caribbean is it's very, very different. There are three different parts of the Caribbean: the East, the West, and the Southern. The eastern part of the Caribbean, which is St. Thomas, your St. Martin, your private Princess Cays, those kind of destinations, they're a great way to get a taste of the Caribbean. The western part of the Caribbean, places like Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Cozumel in Mexico, Roatan, and you got Belize, all these different destinations. The Western Caribbean is quite cultural. Okay, you know, you've got Mayan ruins, you've got all these kind of cultural hotspots and beautiful, pristine water. Then when you actually think about the Caribbean, you think about the music, you think about Calypso, you think about the iconic beaches of Barbados and Aruba and stuff like that. What you're thinking about is the southern part of the Caribbean. The further south in the Caribbean, it just gets better. It just gets better and better and better. Okay. So by doing a round trip cruise from Fort Lauderdale, we're also going to include some of these iconic destinations found in the Caribbean. We're going to get the best of the southern with places like Aruba, and then we're also going to get places in the western, places like Falmouth or Ocho Rios in Jamaica, or Grand Cayman, one of my favorite destinations in the Caribbean. So the round trip kind of ticks off so many boxes, and that's one that I would kind of recommend. If people aren't adamant and say, no, I want to do the full transit, what this does, it makes flights a little bit easier rather than having to get an open jaw. And by doing the cruise in Fort Lauderdale, it allows you to kind of access all that Florida has to offer as well. A lot of Aussies and Kiwis will go to the west coast of America, which is iconic and fantastic, so much to see. But if you go to Florida, I mean, you've got everything. You've got NASA, you've got the biggest Disney park in the world, you've got Universal Studios, you've got Key West, you've got so much. And I mean, Florida really does have it all. So I love that kind of itinerary. By going over to Florida, you're kind of going to get the best of everything, really, if I'm honest. But it depends on what the guest wants. But anyway, that's enough of me talking about that. Short excursions, loads to do. I definitely recommend doing short excursions in these destinations. Sometimes guests will say, I think I found something a little bit cheaper online. Look, we do have a best price guarantee. So if they do find the same itinerary cheaper online or in port, then we can actually refund the difference and still book them on our short excursion. So we do have a best price guarantee. But what you have is peace of mind. You've got peace of mind because if that coach breaks down coming back from zipline in Costa Rica, or if you get stuck in traffic in Cartagena in Colombia coming back from the old town, if you are on one of our short excursions, we know what's happened. We will wait for you. We will wait for you. If you are going alone, we don't know what's happened. We don't know that the car's broken down. We may think that you've just missed it. We're going to sail without you. I have a horror story. This is genuinely true. And this was on the Panama cruise. We'd set sail from Fort Lauderdale. We had 2 days at sea. First port of call was Aruba. We were only in Aruba for 4 hours. Okay. Very short port of call. But the guests completely missed it. They didn't change the time on their watch. So the ship set sail. Then what they needed to do is find their own way from Aruba, the Dutch Antilles, and then to try and meet us in Cologne in Panama. They got stuck at the airport in Panama City, making their way to Cologne. We set sail and we missed them. We then went to Costa Rica. They missed it. They then wanted to jump ahead and meet us in Jamaica, in Ocho Rios. Their flight got cancelled. They then had to meet us back in Fort Lauderdale to collect their belongings and pay their bill. They spent all their time missing everything. They missed the trip of a lifetime, and they had to pay a fortune trying to catch up with the ship. It happens. It really does. It's awful. I don't want people to do that. You are better off booking a short excursion just for that peace of mind. We know what's happened if you are going to be late. Now, in this region, you can do everything from, like I said, from holding sloths. They're adorable. Look at that face. My goodness, they're absolutely gorgeous. Very, very adorable. You can explore the Central American rainforest. You can go to Old Town in Cartagena. Fantastic food and wine. There's so much to do. One of the things I would recommend, if you are stopping in Grand Cayman, I did one of the most amazing short excursions I ever did working on cruise ships. I absolutely adored this. What we did, we got picked up at the cruise ship. We made our way down 7 Mile Beach, which is considered one of the top 10 most beautiful beaches in the entire world. It is absolutely stunning. We then made our way to a dolphin sanctuary. Now, the wonderful thing about this dolphin sanctuary is these dolphins are free to come and go as they please. So where you actually go swimming with them, there's like a net at the waterline, and that's to keep out sharks. That's to keep the humans swimming with the dolphins safe. Regularly, dolphins will just leave. They just go, and they can just jump over. They can go do whatever they want. And then when they come back, they know what they do. They get free food, they get free fish and stuff like that. So they're there by choice. It's really, really environmentally kind and things like that, which I'm a huge advocate for. But then once you go swimming with the dolphins, they're absolutely beautiful animals. You then jump on a boat, and that's that picture there in the top left. You then go about 2.5 miles out into the ocean where there is a sand ridge. You then jump into the sea. It's about waist height, and all these wild stingrays come up, and you can kind of touch them. You can see them. You can snorkel with them. It is the most amazing, amazing experience, and I can't recommend it highly enough. One thing I would recommend, though, is make sure you take plenty of sun cream, because I did get burned to a cinder. Now, regardless of which ship or which itinerary you are going to be cruising with, you are going to get that consistent princess experience, okay? We've got those amazing itineraries. We've got that personalized service coming from the Medallion experience. And of course, great value for money. That's the same with cruising. It's just fantastic. We've got an accommodation to suit every budget. So some guests say, look, I don't need the balcony. I don't want a suite or anything like that. Get me in an interior. I'm going to spend no time there. We've got the interiors. If they just want the bit of natural light, we've got ocean views. If they want to sit out on the balcony and enjoy the beautiful waters in this region, we've got the balcony. If you want a bit more space, we've got mini suites. And of course, we've got the top of the line. We've got our suites. We have something for everyone. But again, regardless of which category you are in, you will receive the fantastic customer service from all of our crew members. One thing I would say, if you are looking to do either the Panama Canal cruise or Antarctica, I'd recommend a balcony. You're in one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. It's quite nice to literally sit out there all rugged up, maybe get your dressing gown on, get a drink, whether it be a hot chocolate or something like that, and just enjoy all that scenery from the comfort of your own stateroom. I strongly recommend that. We have something for everyone. Now, one thing that some people may say, it's not really a destination for families. I completely disagree. Panama Canal and South America are two amazing destinations for families. What kid doesn't want to hold a sloth? What child would not love to see penguins in the wild? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is an amazing place for families. So there is something for absolutely everyone. And if we do have families traveling, of course, we have one of the best kids and teen clubs in the industry, entertaining those children from dusk till dawn. Across the fleet, you're going to get those Broadway style productions. But the key thing that I think separates Princess from any other brand is our enrichment program. We want to bring the destination on board. We want to bring the culture on board. We want to bring the music on board. We want to bring the food on board. So the food's going to be locally inspired dishes, locally sourced wines and produce. We're going to be getting local entertainers on board. If you're going to be in Buenos Aires, guess what? We're going to get Argentinian tango dancers on board. We want the culture on board our ship. So cruising with Princess, you're truly going to be immersed in the destination. Now, how often do you hear people coming back from an amazing holiday saying, I'm absolutely shattered, I need my holiday from my holiday? Now, hopefully our guests aren't coming back too shattered. It's all about that kind of chance to just stop, breathe, make sure we're getting a good night's sleep with the iconic Princess Luxury bed, which does deliver the best night's sleep ever. We've got our adults only sanctuary area. Of course, take advantage of the Lotus Spa. Get out all of those knots. You kind of treat yourself. Make sure you are nice and rejuvenated when you come back home. And of course, plenty of pools and hot tubs around the ship to enjoy. The Medallion class is the game changer that separates Princess from everybody else. It is absolutely fantastic. You can learn more about the Medallion class on our incredible site, which is OneSource. OneSource has so much information there. It's all been refreshed. Our amazing trade marketer and national account manager, as well as inside sales executives, have worked tirelessly to make sure this is a resource second to none for you guys. If you do have guests who are a little bit apprehensive about the Medallion class experience, thinking that it's very technologically heavy, don't think about it as technology. It's not about the technology. Think about Medallion class as a tool to enable our crew to deliver the best service. It's service that you feel. It's not service that you see. As an example, anyone who's cruised, quite often in the morning, your cabin steward will knock on your door to see if you are in the stateroom. If you're not, then they'll come in and they'll make up your bed. They don't need to do that with the Medallion, okay? They can see. So you get up in the morning, you shower, change, get ready for breakfast, you vacate your cabin. They can see that you've left your stateroom. They will come in and they will make up your stateroom. They don't need to bother you. They don't need to interrupt your cruising experience. So magically, your stateroom is just always immaculate. It's service that you feel. It's fantastic. And who doesn't love the idea of ordering a drink wherever you are and it just miraculously appearing right in front of you? Fantastic service that we love. Food is an integral part of cruising, but it's also an integral part of travel. Food really does it's the window into the history and the culture of a destination that you're traveling. So when you're traveling these amazing places like Central America, through the Caribbean, round South America, food is a very, very important part. And Princess will bring that cuisine on board, and we'll have so many different options for our guests, depending on if they want the specialty dining or they just want the inclusions. There is something for everyone and for every budget. One thing I will mention is if you are someone who likes to make the most out of their dining and their drinks and things like that, the Plus and Premier packages are second to none. I mean, the price of this is absolutely amazing. It genuinely is incredible. There is nothing in the industry which offers this kind of value. Princess Plus, $65 a day. Quite often people will say, the first thing that people do is say, would I drink $65? Don't think about that. You're thinking about it all wrong. It's about leaving your wallet at home and having everything at your fingertips and included. What I hate the idea of is somebody being on their holiday somewhere that's a bucket list destination going, oh, shall I have that cocktail? It's 10 o'clock at night. Shall I have it? Or do I really need to spend? You're on holiday. Get the cocktail. Enjoy yourself. The idea of these packages is to include the things that you're going to purchase anyway. You're gonna want Wi-Fi. People just, it's like a second nature now, isn't it, to just pick up your phone and just access the internet and things like that. You definitely want to share those videos and those photos back to your loved ones back home and kind of rub it in, because this is a really special part of the world. And the Wi-Fi package is $35 per person per day anyway. So when we're looking at that, and then you've got the drinks package, you've got your fitness classes, you've got your casual dining. When we look towards the Premier to have unlimited casual dining, to have 2 specialty dining included, this is the most amazing value in the industry, and I definitely recommend adding it to any booking. And of course, for all our trade, they are fully commissionable. So you're getting paid for it. Why wouldn't you? Like I mentioned earlier, OneSource, we have everything at your fingertips. To learn more about any of these destinations, to learn more about the medallion class experience, head to OneSource. There is so much information. Make sure you are doing the amazing Academy, Princess Academy. Once you complete the Princess Academy, you, of course, earn a free cruise. Free cruise for you and whoever you want to take. We have hundreds of cruises to choose from. It really is a no-brainer. Make sure you're doing the Academy. Get that free cruise. Come aboard Princess. See why people love cruising with Princess. And we think you'll love it too. Okay? Learn more about making the most out of your sales tools, which are your cruise sale weeks and your select sailings. It's a great way to offer something to your clients, help convert them in their cruising choices. Now, we started this video by showcasing South America and Antarctica, so it only seems fitting to end this presentation highlighting Panama Canal. Thank you so much for joining me on this presentation. If you have any questions, please reach out to your sales managers. We are always on hand to answer any questions and to offer any assistance that you need. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And with that, I will leave you with the beautiful destination of Panama Canal. Till next time, thank you, folks.